Hello and welcome. Today we are joined by Dom Colbeck of Dodo Juice, and we are in the, you're in Elsenham, aren't you?
Yes.
Which is Essex, is it?
Correct.
It is, just over the border. And we're in Dom's Caribbean shack. Well, it's not Caribbean, is it? It's Mauritian.
Well, it's actually from the Philippines, but we'll say it's Mauritian.
Mauritian.
The brand a bit better.
It does well, doesn't it? And in fact, we're not going to talk about Dodo Juice because we've just spent nearly an hour talking about Dodo Juice, which is in another interview you'll be able to see. What I want to talk about is Waxstock.
Okay.
Basically, Waxstock started in 2012.
Yes.
We launched PVD at the first Waxstock, so we both came into existence at the same time. And since then, you had 2 or 3 years at Peterborough.
Yeah.
And now you have been running what, for 4 or maybe
4 or 5 years, I think.
Yeah, at the Rico in Coventry, which is a really nice venue for the show. It's a really nice. It's sort of built around the football ground, and then underneath it's got a casino and stuff like that. And from a trader point of view, when we're there, the Saturday, Sunday, it's kind of a pilgrimage really to a kind of a great shrine of Waxstock every year. But I just wanted to do.
You can see here.
Oh right.
What does it say?
Shrine to shine.
Shrine to shine, there you go.
You don't want to say that if you've had a few, do you? But I just want to do a little background on Waxstock, because you're a third of Waxstock.
I'm 1/3 of Waxstock.
So Waxstock was started with Dom and with PJ, who's Dom's other half in Dodo terms, and with John Hole, who is the man behind, or one of the 2 chaps behind Detailing World. He also runs Clean and Shiny, and he also is the European importer for Zano. So lots of sort of good CVs, so to speak, behind Waxstock. What gave you the idea for it?
Well, the reason for doing Waxstock is that no one had been able to make a detailing show happen or work before. We'd been approached by 2 event organisers collectively. So we're talking John, PJ and myself. We'd been approached. John had been approached by one company that were doing shows.
Big media companies. Yeah.
And we'd been approached by another company, and what they wanted was for us to do a detailing section within an existing show. Mm-hmm. And it soon became clear that they wanted us to effectively run a lot of demonstrations and to give us an area at the back of the hall that they couldn't sell. Yes. And then put loads of specialist detailing companies in there, which, okay, it's kind of like fair enough. And we would have got some free masthead sponsorship or whatever. It would have been maybe the Dodo Juice detailing area at the blah 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 show. So that was I suppose how the thought for a show first came about. And John had also been approached at Detailing World, obviously Detailing World natural show partner, to also do some demonstrations at a much larger show. Now, independently, neither of those 2 projects ever came to any fruition, partly because the media company were just doing it as a bit of a cynical bums on seats exercise, thinking how can we get these saps to basically do all the demonstrations, all the hard work, and we get to create a zone that we can then market to a dozen companies to come along, and we'll say it's a zone, but actually it's probably likely to be some dead space, a part of the hall that we couldn't sell anyway. So I think some of it had good intentions, some of it was a bit cynical. The main thing was they asked us to help out, and certainly the guys that approached us, unfortunately, had initial discussions 6 months away from the show, and we thought, we can make it happen. We've got lots of crazy ideas, lots of really good ideas. We can really make this perhaps this will be great. So we're going to be breaking new ground with this. We're fully on board. And after the initial chat, where it was very positive, we didn't hear anything, I think, until about a month before the show or 2 months before the show. And then they were like, okay, right guys, how are you getting on with the... They were like, well, we don't have a lot of time to put it all together now, because we want to put on demonstrations and a machine polishing competition or whatever. We wanted to do something quite interesting at the event, and suddenly we had no time to arrange it. But we said, look, it's all possible. So we were still continuing to think about it, and then they said, oh, by the way, we want money for sponsorship. And we were like, well, the whole point of us helping you to put it all together was that we were going to get our name. It was going to be the Dodo Juice Detailing Zone or whatever. There
seems to be a thing. We had a similar factor where somebody wanted us to come along to a massive show, one of the biggest shows, and to go around offering kind of PVD detailing services to just sort of quick detailer on sand washing and stuff to them. And they were, and it all sounded good. And then it was just, oh, by the way, £10,000 please. And I don't know. They live in a little bubble, perhaps.
Yeah, I think it was really a case that they wanted us to help them sell their stand space, help us put on a feature, and yes, if we'd have got the sponsorship for free for that zone, then it might have been worth us doing it. But it wasn't well organised. It wasn't actually that good a deal for us in the end when they said, I think they tried to say you can be a secondary sponsor. We've got someone who'll pay some money now, so they're going to be headline sponsor and you're going to be one of these in association with people down the bottom. And we were like, look, we're not going to run the whole thing for you, fundamentally just to be a little byline at the bottom. So it never happened. But got together with John, who's obviously Detailing World. We sponsored Detailing World, so we knew John, good friend over the years, clean and shiny, stock our products. So lovely chat, and we said to him, look, problem is the industry needs a detailing show. Okay, we've got 70,000 members on Detailing World, or however many people he had at that point, and we need somewhere, even if it's just a pub night, it's just going out for Chinese or curry. We know a few of these detailing meets. We've had a few. There were detailing meets that were kind of popping up occasionally, but they were just at people's units, so you could get in maybe 40, 50 cars, maybe 100 people. But you couldn't do anything. You couldn't do a big meet, and that wasn't a big detailing meet. There were dozens of car shows. There still are. There probably on any given Sunday in June, there's probably 50, 30 car shows going on.
And they've all got a show and showing competition of some description. So there's a lot of detailing influence, but it's not a show about detailing, it's a show about cars.
That's it. There are lots of car shows, but there's not a detailing show. So we had this idea, let's create, these guys, these big media companies can't make it work, they can't make it happen. It's because they're not into detailing. They don't have the connections that we've got. So why don't we, Detailing World, Dodo Juice, Zano, whatever, look, we've already got 2 exhibitors, Zano and Dodo Juice.
Yeah.
There's all the contacts that John's got.
About to say, through Detailing World, John's black book would be about this.
Yeah, exactly. So we thought, let's do it. And John he liked the idea, but Detailing World didn't have the budget to underwrite an event, because when you put an event on, it's difficult to.
It's a gamble. You have to put the money up front.
It's a gamble. Everything has to be paid for up front. But also, we didn't quite know how big we needed to go. We couldn't just start it with a marquee in someone's garden in case 5,000 people turned up, and it had to be indoors. We could have done a cheap show. It'd be very easy to put on a cheap event, because you can just get a local field, get a barbecue, you've got an event. And that's obviously how a lot of car clubs put on some very lovely events, weather permitting, throughout the summer. But it had to be indoors. We had to put on an indoor event because we wanted to have the ultimate show and shine. It had to be. We didn't want to have the problem with a lot of the shows, a lot of the scene shows had a lot of politics. He's in that car club, he can't win at our show because we run this event and he's already won, or that guy that didn't build his own car with that, and this person. So it was all, and we're like, look, on a show and shine, all we care about is the level of detailing that goes into that car, the presentation. If that car is the best detailed, then it's going to win the prize. We don't care who owns it. It has to. It's basically, there's no politics, and it's all about the detailing. You could, in effect, have a car that's got dented panels, but the paint's in good condition. And as long as that dented panel is beautifully swirl-free and gleaming, then we don't care. But obviously, if you put that into Salon Privé or something, and you've got a dented panel in your old Alfa Zagato, then they're going to be like knocking a few points off because you've got a big dent in the panel. So,
also for us, it's exclusive. That high end is exceptionally exclusive. I mean, if I try to get into Salon Privé in my old 500 quid Legacy, I don't think we get very far, to be honest.
Yeah, but so we were saying, okay, let's do the best show and shine. Okay, let's have one that's properly judged. Let's make sure the cars are indoors, so you don't turn up and you're getting. I mean, even I think Salon Privé or Pebble Beach, they're outdoor events, so you get grass and whatever it has to be.
But you also get good beading.
You do get good beading if it rains, but for us it had to be indoors. Let's have a proper indoor show and shine. So we wanted it to be all about not just showing off the car, it's showing off the detailing of the car, and that's the difference, because you can go to a lot of shows, a lot of scene shows. They're kind of like they can be full of cars on air ride, they can be full of static cars. They look amazing. The cars, the work that goes into them, modified cars can be stunning, but it's all about the detail. It's all about, okay, you can have the most amazing car, you could have a £1 million a Pagani, okay, but if it's got swirly paint and your Fiat 500 next to it has got swirl-free paint, we want it to be a show where more people are taking photographs of the Fiat than the Pagani. It's one of those kind of shows. So anyway, there was a need for that, because detailing had taken off in about 2000 2007, 2008, detailing was on the rise. It obviously already hit the States big time.
Yeah.
They were all over detailing. It took us a few more years to get.
We weren't really
get
a
to
mature market till 10, 12.
No, exactly. So detailing world was growing, and we thought no one's done a proper detailing show. No one can make it work. None of the big guys, the exhibitors, the exhibition crews, the media companies can actually make it happen. So let's put on a show ourselves. We haven't done it before, haven't got a clue what we're doing, but hey, it can't be that difficult.
Well, I remember the first one because it was Waxstock, obviously, as a play on Woodstock slightly, and it was going to be very festival. We had some live music.
I know, and this is the thing. How wrong were we? The reason that these people hadn't put on a detailing specific show.
Bloody hard work.
Well, it's because they weren't idiots, and we were complete idiots, because we went in there with a show, with a brand new concept for a show, thinking that this is going to be brilliant.
So I remember at the first Waxstock there were about 1,000 people there or so.
That's it. We got 1,000 people, 70,000 people on Detailing World. It's a global audience. We weren't going to get 70,000. Not everybody's going to get out of bed on a Sunday to even indulge to Peterborough, indulge their passion. But we got 1,000 people to come along to the event, and it commercially wasn't viable. No one wants to exhibit at a show without any proven success. It's the first time in the show, so it has to be. You effectively have to give a lot of low rates, stands for free, or whatever you have to do to get people in to see how it works. And also, we didn't know. The interesting thing is, we didn't know what the first Waxstock was going to be like. We didn't know who was going to respond to it, so we didn't know if it was going to be lots of professional detailers showcasing their work with their cars. We thought it might be 50, 60, 70 professional detailers, all with beautiful customers' cars that they'd borrowed, where their details within each of their lives all showing off. We didn't know if it was just going to be an exhibition with the large companies, these big blue chips that are there that say, we want to put, build a big stand.
Yeah.
And we didn't know whether it was just going to be little companies like Zeno and Dodo Juice, effectively, in the specialist market with a gazebo, selling a few bottles of whatever we've got to sell. And when we undertook the commitment, signed on a dotted line, this very nasty looking legal agreement to take over the showground at a 5-figure sum for the 2 days, 1 day to set up and 1 day for the event itself. Very expensive way of doing it. It could just have been, we sold no tickets, we sold no trade space, and it would have just been John, PJ and myself with some beer saying...
Did you promise yourself that if it did all go Pete Tom, you'd
we'd have that in an empty arena and say, oh my God, what a disaster, but let's just have a beer and write it off. And that's literally, I think, what you have to do to get a show going. But we had the vision, we had the commitment, we had the passion to make it work, and we managed to get 1,000 people in that first year along to it. And those people liked it. I think what's telling is, I suppose, the first show and shine. We had our show and shine, top 16 cars, which is great. We had them, we got them indoors. But then I think we had something like 12 cars in the outdoor show. So there were more cars on the indoor show and shine than there were on the outdoor show and shine. And we had, as you say, it was Waxstock. So we had the Woodstock style poster. We had live music. We had a parachute jump in.
That was it. I remember
parachute jump, and we were just idiots, mental, to try and arrange a parachute jump.
And am I right in thinking it was that first year there was also a dog show on at the stand? So when you turn up initially, you just see lots of sort of large middle-aged women like with fluffy dogs, and you think, gosh,
they were another part of the showground. But yeah, we couldn't have, even for the money that we didn't have exclusivity. So the thing is, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what punters expected of us. We didn't know really what we were doing. We just put it out there. We'd been to plenty of shows ourselves, so we thought we knew a little bit about how to lay out a show and how to organise one in the merest sense. And we got it just about right, because we got all the cars in, we got them looking good, we got the stands in.
Nobody died,
including the parachute jump. So the parachute jump was successful. The live music was on stage, and sadly it wasn't as popular as we hoped it would be.
I quite liked it. I stood there.
Krista was fantastic. Krista was the singer. She was I think a daughter of one of the professional detailers.
Yes.
So she was fantastic. But people wanted detailing, and they were kind of. We had live wax making, I think, with Jay from Bouncers on stage or something. So we put on. We had machine polishing competitions. We were competing on panels. We'd worked it all out. We had lots of. So anyway, whatever the features were, we thought of all the features that we could put into a show, and we tried to put them all on in the first year. And it was really a case of seeing what works, what sticks, that will define what Waxstock is in the future. And we didn't know. All we did was we offered it all up. We tried to sell stand space to everybody. We tried to sell to professional detailers, to blue chips, to small independent traders. So it could have been retailers, manufacturers. We tried to sell stand space to everybody. And as it happened, it was really the independent guys that got on board. They were the ones that took space. We knew some of them from other shows. They came along. Maguire's sponsored the very first show, so kudos to Maguire's. They helped Waxstock get going, and it worked because people came, people bought product. The traders said, "This is surprisingly good for a first show," so they came back for the next year. And I think 3 years later, we'd broken even.
Yeah, no, well, I've got.
It took kind of 3 years to kind of cover the cost of putting on the show, and that's why, of course, these larger companies had always reversed it into a bigger show, and they hadn't really had that kind of that moment with a pound sign above their heads where they thought, "Oh, how do we get rich? I know, let's do a detailing show." Because actually, it was like, how do we lose a 5-figure sum really quickly? I know, put on a detailing show, and none of them were that stupid. But of course, we were kind of naive enough and enthusiastic enough, so we created it. And like some of these things, like I suppose Mr. Dyson with his vacuum cleaner, when he was probably being fighting off patent infringements or whatever, you have to fight through those times. You have to just follow your passion and your belief, and you have to hope that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I think the real thing that's kept it going is the community that's formed around it. I mean, I remember the very first one. In fact, without it, the industry didn't know itself very well. Yeah, there was online and stuff, but I built many more friends and things through Waxstock. The first one, we happened to be next to Lloyd and the team at Covershaw, and then since we've worked since that day we got our first members. Andy Allgood joined up on that day, and it's developed. I remember the second one, we had a Jag XK150 I bought on a transit van flatbed, and it was terrifying. The car was heavier than the van, and he was lethal around the roundabouts around Peterborough. And I turn up and there's PJ at the front gate, and he says, "Oh, just follow me." He jumps in the 7 Series head at the time, the Waxstock 7 Series, hoomed into the distance, completely in the middle of nowhere. I had no idea where I was going, and he was parasliding around the corner. I was kind of chasing on like this. And I just remember those first shows were so, everybody was a bit nervous. Everybody just from the organisers down. And then now, when we go to the Rico, almost everybody, certainly on the setup day, everybody knows everybody, even if it's just by sight, and it's created a much stronger community. It gives a
focus. It's given a real hub to the whole industry. It's given. It gives you, and that's the other reason for setting it up. We were invited, and we still are. We're invited to dozens, if not hundreds, of shows every single year as Dodo Juice. And the sad thing is, we've got a limited number of guys that can do shows at weekends. We've got limited resources. As much as we'd like to go to field in the middle of Lanarkshire with 30 guys to chat about their
Massey Ferguson's,
or whatever it might be, and we'd love that because those guys are great and they're really passionate. They love our products. Just the sheer cost of the petrol, or the diesel to put in a van to get up there. Even if all of them bought £50 of the products from us, we'd still probably be out of pocket by the time we have the expenses. So you can't be everywhere for all of those people. So half of the idea of Waxstock, not only was half of it hadn't been done, we were a bit stupid and brave, wanted to do it, and people were saying, potentially, the more people said it can't be done, the more we wanted to do it. The other half of it was we needed to have a focus for the detailing community, but one show. And it's important to have this one show, because if you can only afford to go to one show in terms of time or in terms of effort or in terms of money to go to one show, instead of it being, say Goodwood, the biggest car show I suppose in the UK with 200,000 or whatever visitors to Goodwood Festival Speed, or going to one of the big NEC shows or whatever, which are very expensive to trade at. If there's you can't. Maguire's do amazingly well. They go to dozens and dozens of shows, but they can't be at every one. So what we were really doing was saying, look, if you're into car care, come to the one show a year that you can make, which is Waxstock. If you're into selling car care products, or manufacturing them or retailing them or whatever, or you're a detailer or whatever it might be, just come to one show a year. You don't need to go to all of the scene shows, all the VW shows or whatever, all the big car shows to see the guy at Maguire's stand, to see Autoglim or to see whoever. Just come to the one show a year that's got your interests at heart. And if you're selling stuff like this exhibit at that show. Support your industry. Don't go to Goodwood. Okay, Goodwood's great. We've traded at Goodwood. It's fantastic. But you're next to people selling jacuzzis to company directors and the Dogs Trust and whatever. It's brilliant. It's a great show. It's a fantastic day out.
But for detailing,
even if there are 30, 40 or 50 detailing companies at Goodwood, they're all spread out over this beautiful estate.
Well, also,
it'll take you an hour to find them all.
Well, it would, and a lot of the people who are selling these products are, because it's interesting, the big multi-brand online resellers, the Clean and Shinies of this world, the Clean Your Cars of this world, they often, very rarely do I see any of those at these shows. And I used to do the show circuit as well, about 30 a year, and I know the guys...
That's right. Well, I first met you when you were doing your car skin stand.
Long time
I think
ago.
Originally you were doing car skin, I think NEC, with a very expensive looking stand, so God bless you for that.
That was 09.
Must have cost your mortgage to do that stand. But you were a competitor on the show scene.
I used to sleep in the back of a crappy Astra van. I had literally an old 2005 Astra van diesel. We used to take everything out, sleep in the back of it, and then sit there.
You were an exhibitor.
And
of course.
We started doing those shows. We did for a couple of years. We do it intensively, but then Waxstock was great. And as you say, from an exhibitor point of view, if you're a specialist, it's the one place you can focus all your energies. But also from a visitor point of view, if you go to these big shows, there are lots of these what I call bric-and-brac car sales, and they'll have chamois leathers from one side and sort of fairly generic products all over the place. But there's no other place that I'm aware of, and I've done just about every show in some capacity or other, even if it's a used classic car salesperson or something like that. There is not one place where you get so many brands in one place and with so much expertise to back it up. Because the problem with the kind of the bric-a-brac style is, it's like, all right, governor, you want yourself a chamois leather, want yourself some shampoo, all right, sorted, and it's not very useful. I probably should do that again. It's not
very good. But although Mary Poppins 2 it's already been and gone, so there's no point auditioning.
Damn it.
Dick Van Dyke's role again.
But if you wanted to ask about the lubricity of your 200-to-1 shampoo versus a 800-to-1 shampoo with water softeners in, they wouldn't be able to answer those questions. At Waxstock, between the detailers, the exhibitors, the resellers, the manufacturers, the amount of knowledge you've got there is really, really strong. So, and this is really a plea to all those who are into detailing as an enthusiast. If you haven't done Waxstock, try it. And if you did it, say, 5 years ago, try it again, because there is so much there. And I think it's just a really strong.
Well, we get about 60 odd stands. It's probably 60 to 70 stands we'll probably have this year. I think it was 60 last year, 60 plus. I can't remember, but it was around that level. And we get about 80. Maybe 90 brands, because of course some people on one stand are representing 2 or 3 smaller independent brands or whatever. But what's interesting is I went to SEMA last year, and I love SEMA. We've exhibited at Dodo Juice at SEMA, which is quite difficult to do as a small English company. But that show is obviously the biggest. I think the biggest car show I've ever been to. It must be the biggest car show
in the world.
It's amazing, and it's truly a fantastic show. But the detailing part of it is just one section. Fundamentally, it's one section of one hall.
It's growing.
It's got spray booths and whatever. And I did a little rough count, and they had their probably 40 or 50 detailing, stands that you would class as detailing stands. Okay, and I thought, you know what? I haven't got the exact figures, but I reckon that if you were to add up the number of detailing related brands that we get in our little space at Rico, with the number of true detailing brands that SEMA, biggest show in the world, managed to get, I'll tell you what, we're up there. Maybe even beat it. I don't know. Okay, for legal reasons, I'm not sure whether we do beat SEMA for that. But I would say that it's maybe even just the number of brands that we represent, we probably represent more detailing brands in one place than even SEMA does.
Yeah, well, if you look at the resellers, I mean, just Shop and Shine, just out of memory, I think they do about sort of 40, 50, 60 brands, and it'd be the same for the other ones. So you add all that.
Oh yeah, we don't do that because there's obviously a lot of overlap. So it tends to be people, but I know what you mean. But certainly, when it comes to a focus on detailing and one little pinpoint on a Google map, I would pretty much say that for that one day in July, it's Sunday the 21st of July 2019 this year, we get more car care in one day in one place than anywhere in the world. So, and if you're into detailing, and this is it, we had a lot. What made me laugh a little bit was the 70,000 people on Detailing World. You had people saying we changed the date a little bit. Because we were trying to work out the availability from year on year, and there'd be like a wedding on one day, we couldn't have pizza because of that or whatever, or there'd be the dog show, we didn't want to clash with it, so the date kept moving a little bit. Now it's pretty much always the third Sunday in July. It's kind of pretty much fixed, but in those first days, the date changed a little bit, and there was one guy, and he said, "Oh, it always falls on my wife's birthday. I can't make it." And when they go, it's been a different date for the first 3 years of the show.
But I get messages. I get messages in November saying when's the date for Waxstock.
I know, but the point is, he was making that excuse, as in, "Oh yeah, Goodwood always falls on my wife." But it's like, look, you're on Detailing World, okay? You're posting. You're an enthusiast. You've had a chance in the last 2 years to make at least one of these that's not on your wife's birthday. One of them was on your wife's birthday.
Did you check you only had the one wife?
Well, okay, I suppose it could have been a slightly unconventional situation.
I'm just, thinking that.
But what amazed us a little bit was that a lot of people talk detailing. A lot of people say, "Oh, I'm a detailer. Oh, look at the swirls on that. Oh, mate, I'd have got them out in 20 seconds. Oh, just give me my my Dash 6, I'll have them straight out, mate." And it's like a lot of people talk the talk, and they're quick to criticise or quick to whatever. And I was thinking, we've literally got 1,000 people out of 70,000. That's all we can get. In our first year, and then I think it was like 1,200, 1,300 in the next.
We're at 3,000.
Over 3,000 now.
Yeah.
We're at maybe 3,003. We're going to aim at that kind of level, and we've only got really probably a capacity of about 4, probably in the venue, to be fair. So we can't do a lot more than that, and we don't want any more than that. But what was interesting was a lot of people were talking detailing. They were like, "Oh, I'm a detailer. I love detailing. I'll go to anything detailing related." And then you say, "Well, come to me." "Oh, I can't. I'm walking the Dachshund today." "Okay. Well, what about next week? Let's have a meet then." "Oh, I'd love to, but it's my Filipino wife's birthday, not my English wife's birthday, so I can't come to that one." And they go, "Okay, well, you give me a date that suits you. Okay, well, how about this weekend?" And guarantee, put the whole show on for that weekend, and they'd be, washing their hair or mowing the grass or whatever. They wouldn't turn up. And the point was, it's like, look, guys, this is your show, okay? If you're into detailing, this is your show. If you don't go to it, it's not gonna survive. Okay, we're not idiots. We're not going to be losing, kind of like, the cost of a cheap second-hand 5 Series every single year for you, trying to put on this event. We'll do that for like a year, and then the next year we'll try and lose kind of like a second-hand Ford Focus, and then the third year hopefully we'll break even, and we'll do that because there's benefits for Dodo Juice, there's benefits for Zano, for Clean and Shiny, kind of all of the people that are involved in it. But we're doing it for the specialist markets. We're doing it for detailers. We're doing it for the detailing community as a whole. So use it or lose it. Come along, exhibit. If you're an exhibitor, and it amazes me, we've got a lot of resellers, we've got a lot of retailers, a lot of manufacturers who haven't traded, won't trade, they're always busy, and yet I'll see them at some scene show, and you know what, some of those guys, some of them have actually said, "Oh, we don't think we're big enough for Waxstock," and it's like, don't be stupid, you're the specialist industry, come along, no one's gonna, don't feel like you can only sell it to the kind of, the guys in skinny jeans with their, their lower Audis or, Golfs or whatever, come along, okay, because you're supporting the specialist industry, and yes, you'll be there with more established players, but you'll be fine. People are interested. You'll have something to offer them, even if it's just kind of more interesting packaging, or you've had a more interesting journey or route to market. Come along, support the industry, support the industry that you're in, because if you don't support it, you know what? It's just going to be the mass market. You can have the mass market and Amazon. Pretty much, you're in the middle. And Waxstock is a show for the people in the middle.
And what I really like also is you keep it pure, because I know you've had lots of people from other things who want to come in and sell, I don't know, bouncy castles, whatever, I have no idea. And you basically said, "No, sorry, but you have to be detailing related." So there's not lots of sort of random stuff in there.
Yes. That's and that's an interesting point, because we don't want to turn it just into another car show. If we wanted to grow it to be a big event, a big car show, we could get the kids' bouncy castles, the face painting, the guys, we know lovely guys from the show circuit, got some real mates, that sell, hi-fi. They sell car hi-fi. They do number plates. Lovely guys that we've known a long time in the industry. We'd love to invite them along. The show would be better for them. For us, we'd get a bit more money from those traders, but it would be diluting Waxstock. We do not dilute Waxstock. You will, when you go to Waxstock, apart from like the odd charity stand, okay, because we have Sebastian's Action Trust as a charity stand. Apart from that, and the bar, or the croissant,
we have to have the bar. We're not getting rid of the bar,
or whatever. It's everything is detailing related. We don't have people just selling general car tat. Okay, you just can't get. So we get specifically. But what that means is it attracts people that know they're going to get detailing products. They know they don't have to walk around lots of identikit kind of candy floss stalls, and or whatever, that they see at every other car show, they know that they can go there and they can buy detailing products. And the nice thing is as well, what Waxstock's kind of turned into is a little bit of a secret, I suppose. You know, it might be obviously more of an open secret now. Is it's become almost a detailer shopping day out. It's kind of the detailer's blue water for one day only, because of all of the internet online competition that goes on. Sometimes the best deals can't be posted up online, because something, you know, some Google bot or whatever is going to price match it, or someone's going to say,
or some manufacturer's going to have a right go to reseller.
Exactly. They're going to say, hang on a minute, you know, you're devaluing, and so, which is fair enough, because pricing. There's pricing strategies, but if you have got some old stock, or you simply want to do a bit of a deal or whatever, Waxstock allows people on the day, for one day only. It's kind of like the Harrod sale. You know, you can't. You know, I know it's changed a little bit with the days of Black Friday. It's like a whole like month now instead of one day. But effectively, it's like a detailing Black Friday where you can go. People go and load up the boot of their car.
One guy
lost his locked his keys to his Mercedes in the boot because he was going backwards and forwards with his, you know, kind of 25 litres of Autosmart where he was buying, you know, going to the car. And that's the thing, because it's a compact show. If you go to Goodwood Festival of Speed, if you try and hunt back. If Autosmart go, I don't think Autosmart do go, bless them, because they are a fantastic company, but I'm not sure that I've never seen them.
It's not a compatible.
I've never seen them at Goodwood Festival of Speed, but if they did go to Festival of Speed and they did sell 25 litres, I would not want to walk my 25 litres that I've purchased back to the field. About a helicopter ride away.
Well, it's in a different postcode. Some of the car parks it's a different postcode. But and the thing is so there are people who go for the deals, and I think if you are, you know, you've got a little budget to spend for your kind of 6 months worth of detailing kit, you can easily make back the cost of going. There's free parking and the cost of the ticket, and so there's that side. If you're going for knowledge base, well, you have got some of the best detailers and some of the most knowledgeable people in one place. You just need to ask, and do so with a smile. And then there are those who go for the cars and the kind of the detailing side. And on that latter topic, in the past people have said, oh, that's not detailed. I've seen it, and to be fair, the professionals are just as bad at saying, oh, quality of cars this year weren't very good. And I get furious. I mean, I get furious to the point where I'm smashing up my keyboard. I'm not really, actually, no. I just write a firm letter to myself to calm me down. But the point is I'm trying to encourage the professionals as well as the amateurs, because it's all very well saying, well, that car's not very good. So, well, bring in something yourself. It doesn't cost a lot of money. And there is the top 16, there's the Arrive and Shine, all these things. If you think you can do better, then why not do better? And that is why, and we're chatting about this behind the scenes. So I'm just going to put it here on the video that we're thinking of bringing a 300,000 mile, £500, 20-year-old Subaru Outback, which is not a sexy car, it is not a new car, detailing it to the nines using the PBD membership to do so, and then entering it into a competition of some description. And bear in mind, it will be up against nicely restored classics, it'll be up against nearly new cars, it'll be up against pampered modified cars that are 100% sexier. But it's about the detailing, not about the car. And I think that's really important to anybody else wanting to exhibit there. If you've got a 25-year-old Punto or something like that, not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but if you did, and you want to enter into it, do not get nervous about it. Yes, there's going to be a nice Ferrari that Kelly Harris has resprayed and done an absolutely amazing job on it, and yes, there might be a Lamborghini on a stand, but it doesn't mean you can't bring your Punto 1.2 12 valve and show it off if you want.
What we've had, the nice thing is, the most important thing is we have an Arrive and Shine on the day for cars that effectively turn up and compete, and that's first year of the show we had, as I say, I think it was like 12 cars or something, disastrous. Now we have a maximum of 150 slots because we simply can't, we've got 3 judges and we can't judge any more than 150 cars. It's like effectively 50 cars each that they've got to judge, and they've got to judge to, you know, high standards.
And so, I know the judges well. The judges are professional detailers,
absolutely.
And they are properly experienced, and I don't know who's on this year, but
we know we always have. It's normally, it does depend a little bit on who's available, but it's normally professional detailers for all 3 judges' positions on the Arrive and Shine. Now, those cars come in and we get all 150 pretty much. It might be, I don't know, due to the car park closing a bit early or whatever, that 138 get in, but generally speaking it's about 150, so it's got a full Arrive and Shine. But we also have our top 16 Detailing World Showdown, and the whole point of the Detailing World Showdown is that you can put your car in there and the best detailed car will win. Now, that's been won by a 1960s Ford Cortina.
I think so, yes, the orange one.
No. Oh, no,
green one.
no. Jim's green one.
Green one. Yeah.
Okay. And then there was an Escort. You're thinking
Yes.
of the Ford Escort,
Right.
which again was a 1970s Escort, Mexico, I think it was. There's been a Lupo with 1,000 miles, and again they didn't make Lupos since was it come 2004 or something?
Is that the green one? Or?
Yeah, the green Lupo.
Yeah.
So the thing is, people say, "Oh yes, oh yeah, oh just turn up to Waxstock in your brand new Lamborghini and you win." It's like you won't.
No, you absolutely won't.
Because you know what, you have to detail a car better than a dealer can prep it.
Yeah,
if you do
new cars don't come out pristine anywhere.
What happens is the factory prep it, they give it to the dealers prep it, and then they give it to you. They don't have the same level that goes into, like a Mercedes E-Class.
Well, also, it's
that we
on a
had. There was a daily driver.
It travels 5,000 miles by train, then by boat. Then
we've had, a Mercedes A-Class
Yes.
as a daily driver, and the thing is, Gillian's Mercedes A-Class. This is a daily driver. People think that these are kind of garage queens that get detailed to an inch of their lives, and then they get kind of put on a covered transporter, mirrors straight underneath them, and then they win. But we've had so many winners with high mileage cars, old cars, daily drivers, that it is literally a tribute to the people that enter. And what's funny is, people will go and there'll be some cars. I don't want to be rude. There'll be some cars in the top 16 that aren't as good as the other cars. Okay, you'll always get the one.
In terms of the level of detail.
There'll be some there'll be a few swirls in, for example. What people don't realise sometimes is that the original car couldn't make it. Okay, the guy prepared his car, wanted to come along, and then his sister gets married on the same day.
It's going to be another wife's birthday, isn't it?
But it happens,
Yes,
okay?
it does, yeah.
So what you find in that situation is he then sells the ticket, or he takes along another car, or whatever. So you always get, and it does make me laugh, it's always the people that don't kind of bring their own cars along that will be the most vocal and say, "Oh, I found swirls on that car." It's like, yeah, okay. We're not saying, because it's a detailing show, that every single car in there is perfectly detailed. We would expect that most of the cars in there are well detailed. We would expect that the exhibitors have got well detailed cars. We'd expect that the people in the top 16 have got well detailed, and people in the Arrive and Shine have got pretty well detailed cars. But okay, given the standards, you might find the odd swirl occasionally or whatever. That might be true, but it's almost a bit unfair. I can remember one year we dragged in just a guy. We didn't have enough people to enter because we had so many dropouts. We had some people that dropped. I think we had like 6 or 7 dropouts out of the top 16. So we're dragging cars in from the Arrive and Shine. This is like on Waxstock 1 or 2 or whatever, and it was literally some poor guy that turned up to the Arrive and Shine. And that doesn't mean necessarily, that means good.
It's really good. He was just a DPD delivery man.
Yeah, shove your DPD van, get it in the top 16, and get it looking as good as you can. So this is the thing, it's very easy to criticise a show and say, "Oh, not all the cars are perfect. They've got perfect paint." It's like, look, you'll get more perfect paint at Waxstock as a proportion of cars shown than at other shows, but you will still find the odd car. And you know what? Maybe that person is going to try a bit harder next year. Maybe they'll enter it again. Maybe they shouldn't have entered it. Yeah. But it's an open competition.
Well, and also more specifically, if you feel the need to go online and criticise it, don't, because you're going to be upsetting that person. Just actually do it yourself. Go on there and prove to others you're doing it, rather than just giving it all that. And anyway, we're making it sound a little bit too kind of aggressive. What I'm saying is, come along to it, get involved, get stuck in.
But also, put your preconceptions to one side, because when people say, "Oh, I'll just come along with a brand new Lamborghini," brand new cars always win. They don't. That's the whole point. They really don't. And also, if you just think that they're all prepared by professional detailers, they're not. I think I think it's pretty much been an amateur winner, I think, every single year that we've done it. And that's partly because it's a busman's holiday for the detailers, professional detailers. When we did it the first year, we thought all professional detailers are going to come along, and the reality was they did come along, but they didn't want to machine polish. They didn't want to bring along a car. They wanted to relax and enjoy themselves. So that's the second part of Waxstock. It's a good day out for the detailing guys. The detailing guys and girls. The community as a whole can get together. They can have a nice evening out the night before. Stay at a hotel on site if they want to, go to the casino, meet lots of like-minded people, but also it's that friendly day out where they catch up once a year, perhaps with people, with suppliers, with whoever it is. But also, we get it. They don't want to detail. Some of them we drag in to do some judging or some detailing, but you don't have to be there worrying about someone judging your car. We know it's not become a detailer showcase event. It is a show for detailers to come along at, but not necessarily to demonstrate that. You know, they could do that if they wanted to, and you know, we have had that happen. But fundamentally, the pro detailers that come along do it as their best day out. A bit of shopping, bit of chatting, maybe a bit of drinking in the evening. They really, you know, the evening before, they absolutely love it. And it's become a proper date in the diary. And now we've got this firm date. People clamour for we sold out of early bird tickets. We sold out of. You can still get advance tickets. There are savings on advance tickets. So it's still worth buying advance tickets in advance than on the gate. There is a saving. But all of the early bird one that came with a free sticker, those hundreds of those we put up have already gone. We're only, I think, a month into trade bookings, and we're about two-thirds of the space already sold.
So doing
maybe even a bit more. Maybe kind of three-quarters. So
just a quick fire thing, just for those who are thinking about it. The top 16 now, you've had all the applications for that, so that's closed. All
the applications for the top 16 is now closed. However, there's still two. Okay, so
we're trying to go quick fire.
I know. I'm okay. It's worth noting, top 16. Tickets have gone, but occasionally they come up for sale because people have got their wife's wedding, daughter's birthday, whatever it might be. Coming on that, or not wife's wedding, that might be, or second ex-wife's wedding maybe. But they've got something on that's come up, so they can't come along. So if you want to still come along to the top 16, just send an email in via the contact form saying put me on a reserve list. We've already got a reserve list. It's got probably a dozen names on it already, but it's worth putting a name down because I think what's likely to happen is that when a ticket becomes available, we might just email people,
the reserves, and the reserves say, actually, I've changed my plans now.
Or it might be on that on that reserves list that people might be picked at random or whatever, and they might have the opportunity to do it, or it might just be first come first served. So you might still get a ticket, so you could still get in there. The other thing is that we have arrive and shine spaces often. We don't necessarily guarantee it, but you can't buy an indoor ticket for your car. You can obviously buy a ticket as a punter to come in yourself, but for your car, because they've all gone that ticket type, you still stand a small chance of getting your car inside if you turn up early on a Sunday morning at about 8 o'clock. Because if you're in the arrive and shine, if there's space inside, there'll always be 2 or 3 cars, maybe even more, that don't make it, or we've got a gap or whatever, and we need an extra car. We will then go and pick it from that. So there's still an opportunity to get your car inside, but fundamentally you've got to be early with those ticket types to get.
So to be in with to do the arrive and shine, what's the process? When do you need to turn up by? What's it cost? How's it work?
Okay, the arrive and shine, all you need is a ticket. So you've got to buy a ticket. If you turn up to the Arrive and Shine car park and haven't got a ticket, you have to go and buy a wristband from the.
So a normal entry ticket, not a
normal entry ticket. Okay, so the Arrive and Shine. This isn't the indoor. Indoor is a bit special. Indoor, you've got to turn up at 8 o'clock on a Sunday and hope for infill, which might happen, or you've already got that ticket, or you have to hope that somebody sells you an indoor ticket because they can't go. Okay, so it's pretty much gone. However, the Arrive and Shine on the day, there's 150 slots. Okay. Some of those, about 30 of those, are only taken up with cars inside. So it's probably about 120 cars outside. You just need to turn up early on Sunday. About at 8 o'clock, we get a lot of car clubs that come in. You've got to turn up early at 8 o'clock. You get preferential parking. It's an even shorter walk. It's not a big venue, so you can do all of your shopping and go back and forth to the car. But it's the best position for the Arrive and Shine parking. Get there early on the Sunday. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, get your car parked up, all you need is a ticket, and then you can enter the Arrive and Shine.
Cool, and if you're a normal punter, you don't want to put your car on the Arrive and Shine, you just want to go there, what time do the doors open?
Okay, well the doors to the show itself open at 9:30 and the show closes at 4:30. So there is normally a queue of people who are halfway down the Rico corridor at about 9:30. It's quite a long snake of a queue of people.
If you call the fire alarm though, you can jump that queue.
Well, what you find is that the busiest time for the show is basically between 9:30 and about 2:30. Okay, so it is mega busy. It slows down a little bit about 2 o'clock. So if you want to beat the crowds, if you just want to kind of go and do have a slightly more relaxed shopping experience, come at for a couple of hours between 2 and 4 along that kind of line. Prize giving is from 3:30 to 4:30. But after lunch is normally a little less manic than first thing in the morning. 10 o'clock we've got a lot of. It's very busy.
And you can get tickets online at www.waxstock.com.
Correct.
And the currently you still get a discount for basic advanced booking. It's not the early bird, but it's still like 16 quid plus postage, something like that.
Yes, yeah.
Something in that region. And on the door there, 20 quid on
£20 for an adult ticket.
And what about for Kiddywinks?
Yeah, we do concessions for Kiddywinks, so
Cool.
they get a cheaper ticket in advance as well. So yes, it's worth booking in advance. It does save time. You can put your wristband on, and then you'll be able to
Sail
go
through.
straight in rather than deal with the box office queues.
Cool. And it's Sunday, the 21st of July 2019.
That's it.
So come
Yeah.
along and say hello as well. Dom's normally running around like a headless chicken.
Yeah, don't talk to me.
Don't talk to Dom at all. But say hello, I'll be there, and we're doing lots of fun things on stage. So without further ado, we shall leave it there. Thank you very much, Dom.
Thanks.
Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
bud.
And we will see you soon, I'm sure.